What is going on, everybody, and welcome to a bit of a different video from me today because I am super excited because the Football League, the Premiership, it is back today. Football is finally back. It has seemed like such a long time since we've had any form of competitive football. I mean, since the season finished, we've only really had the Women's World Cup and that's it, and that seemed to be finished absolutely ages ago. So today, what I thought I would do is a sort of prediction video for the Premier League. If you do want to see more sort of in real life related football videos, then leave a like on the video and also make sure if you're new around here you subscribe as well. But I'm going to basically be predicting what I think the top four is going to be, the bottom three, so the teams getting relegated from the Premier League, top goal scorer, top assister, and also the most clean sheets while we're at it. So we're going to start off at the summit of the table. As many of you may know, I am a Man City fan. Can you even see that there? There you go. You can just about see that. I'm awful at this whole pointing with the freaking opposite way around thing with the camera. But, so, biasedly, I am of course going to say Man City, top of the Premier League. Now the top four I think is going to be pretty much the same as is every year with the return of United after that small gap they had when Liverpool jumped in there after the Steven Gerrard slip. But, I think it's going to be Man City top, Chelsea second, Arsenal third, United fourth. I do, however, think it's going to be a real three-horse race. I can predict it being quite close up until sort of February, March, and I think United might drop off a little bit, but I really do feel that Arsenal have got the squad to really push on this season. I mean, they've signed Czech, which is a massive improvement over Szczesny, and if they get like a world-class striker, then they could potentially even go on and win the league, in my opinion, because that is a really sick team they've got going on at the moment. The only problem that they do have is depth. I mean, Jack Wilshere got injured for a long time the other day. I think he's out for like 6 or 7 weeks at least. And it's stuff like that. When they get an injury like that, they pretty much get screwed over because they've got no real depth to the team. But if by some miracle everyone was to stay fit and Arsenal were to sign a world-class striker like Benzema, then I really do think they could win the league. But it's just difficult to foresee that happening. A, I don't think they will get Benzema. And B, you can't see him going the season without getting any injuries. I mean, people like Giroud. If Giroud gets injured, there's no one to really step in there. If Sanchez was to get injured, obviously he's a main man for them. No one can really replace him. Which is why I think you look at teams like Man City and Chelsea, and the depth they've got is absolutely crazy. But it's also difficult to predict at the moment, purely because we're not at the end of the transfer window. There could be big signings. I mean, like if Man City were to get Kevin De Bruyne in before the end of the transfer window, that would be an absolutely huge transfer. And if Chelsea were to go out there and get someone big as well, I mean, I can't think of an example. But, I mean, like Pogba's meant to be staying out at Juventus, so that's one that's probably not going to happen. But you know what I mean? If a big transfer was to happen before the end of the transfer window, it could just change everything completely because it's just such a tight one to call, as it always is. But I do think it's going to be really close this season, particularly between Man City and Chelsea, a bit closer than last season, and then Arsenal won't be far off it either, in my opinion. But at the opposite end of the table, it's usually the case that you get sort of two of the newly promoted teams going down, then one team that's sort of been wriggling around the relegation for the past sort of 3 or 4 years finally drops down. I think Norwich are going to be the team that comes bottom this season. I don't think they've got enough strength in depth when you look at their team. And I just don't think they've got the quality as much as the likes of Bournemouth, who I think have invested so well in the summer. The likes of Atsu, the likes of Max Gradel. They are some really solid signings. Distan as well, who's got that Premier League experience. So I think Norwich are going to go down. I also think Watford will probably go down. I think the first manager to get sacked this season will probably be the I can't even remember who the Watford manager is, but they go through managers like nobody's business. So I think they're going to be the first to sack their manager, and I think they're also going to go down. But then the third team, I was very tempted to go Villa, but Villa seem to escape it all the time. But this season they have lost Benteke and they have lost Dell, so I think Villa are going to be in real trouble again. But I do think Sunderland might finally bite the dust this season. They're another team always seems to get away with it. Like I say, always seems to be two newly promoted teams and a sort of struggler that's been around there, hovering over relegation for a few years that seems to drop. So I'm going to go Norwich, Watford and Fulham in that order. So we'll see how that pans out. But top goal scorer, it's another really difficult one to call because I can't see it being too different from last year. I think Aguero's got to be in with a good share of it again, and he's just taken the number 10 shirt as well in real life. I don't know what's happening there. He's normally number 16, but because Dzeko's left, he is now the number 10 for Man City, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think it's got to be between Aguero, Diego Costa, two fantastic players that could potentially get the golden boot, but two players that get injured so goddamn often that it's difficult. I mean, if they hadn't have been injured last season, Harry Kane wouldn't have even been in with a shout, in my opinion. I don't think Harry Kane's going to do it like he did last season. I think he'll still have a decent season, but I don't think he'll do anywhere near as well as he did this. Maybe I'll eat my words on that one. Maybe he will have another fantastic season, but I think the thing is, when you first burst onto the scene, you're sort of an unknown quantity. Teams don't know how to deal with you, and you sort of get the freedom of the pitch a bit more. Now that people know he's a bit more dangerous, he'll get more tightly marked. He won't have the space as much as he did this season just gone. So I don't think he'll do quite as well this season as he did last, but I still think he'll do decent. So top scorer, I think you've got to be looking at Aguero, Diego Costa. I don't think Rooney is going to be in there because I think he's going to end up playing a sort of midfield cam role. So I really don't see where the goals are going to come from too much from United this season, which is one of the reasons why I don't think they'll win the league. I mean, they've lost Di Maria, who obviously didn't do fantastic for them, but you can't get past the fact that he's a fantastic talent. They bought in Depay, really good young player, but again, he's not going to be challenging for the Golden Boot, I don't think. So for me, it's going to be between Diego Costa and Sergio Aguero, potentially Sanchez if he plays up front more often, but again, he's more likely to be playing on the wing. So I'm going to go between Aguero and Costa, and as a Man City fan, I am going to be going for Aguero. Any of these, by the way, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you disagree with any of them, just let me know. I want you the same things that I'm going over here. Give me your predictions. But most assists, another difficult one. I mean, Cesc Fabregas absolutely ran away with it last season, and he had an incredible first half of the season. Really dried up over the second half, but still managed to get it by a country mile, I'm pretty sure. And again, being Man City fan, I'm looking towards the likes of David Silva, who's always there or thereabouts. Fantastic playmaker. Fabregas has got to be up there again. For United, I do think Depay could get a fair few assists, and perhaps the likes of Juan Mata if he kicked on this season. You look at Chelsea, again, Eden Hazard, like on that wing, especially with Costa and Falcao, two good players in the air. If he can get some good deliveries in there, he could be bagging a hell of a lot of assists as well. And then you go to Arsenal, Mesut Ozil, fantastic playmaker, fantastic passer, but I just don't think Arsenal have got the great goal scorer in there to provide it for him. I mean, you look at Giroud, really good striker, but he's not a Premier League winning striker, in my opinion, that is anyway. So I am actually going to go for Eden Hazard purely because of Falcao and Diego Costa. I didn't mention Falcao in the top scorer one, but I do think he will have a really good season for Chelsea. I think he'll bounce back and prove the critics wrong after a poor season at United. So I'm going to go for Eden Hazard to get the most assists next season. That'll be interesting because he does like to cut in, but with the attacking options they've got, he'll be able to slip in the ball to those fantastic two strikers. They've got so many, you know what I mean, they've got so many great attacking options to be picking out the ball with every time. So it's going to be Hazard or Fabregas, perhaps David Silva, but I'm going to go for Eden Hazard. Clean sheets, Joe Hart has won this for the last God knows how many years. I mean, people don't realise last season Man City's defence was criticised so much, but Joe Hart actually came away with the Golden Glove for maybe like the 4th year in a row, possibly, I think. Don't completely quote me on that, but I know he's won it a hell of a lot of times over the last 4 or 5 years. So Joe Hart's got to be a strong contender again. United losing De Gea, that's going to be a big blow because I don't have too much faith. If I was a United fan, this is, I should say, I wouldn't have too much faith in their defence because it's pretty fucking terrible. I mean, if it wasn't for De Gea last season, they would have lost so many more points, and I'm pretty confident that he is going to be making that move to Real Madrid. So it's going to be interesting to see who they bring in. I know they've got, who did they just sign? They just signed some goalkeeper, I can't remember who it was. Was it Sergio Romero? Nowhere near the standard of David De Gea, in my opinion. You look at Chelsea, they've got Courtois and a really solid defence as well, so Courtois got to be in with a big shout as well. Arsenal as well. Their defence is so underrated in my opinion. Again, similarly to Man City, their defence gets criticised so much, but I actually really rate the partnership of Laurent Koscielny and Per Mertesacker, and with Petr Cech there as well. I really do think this is why I think they could go for the title a bit more this season, because they've really got that solid goalkeeper, the solid centre-back partnership. Monreal, I think, is a fantastic, promising looking right back, and at left back Kieran Gibbs, pretty average in my opinion, but that is still a really solid defence. So for me, I'm actually going to throw a curveball out there, I should say, sorry, and go for Petr Cech to get the most clean sheets next season. But I still feel that it won't be enough to take them to the title, purely because they need to get that world-class striker, like I said before. But that is going to summarise everything. I think we've covered everything now pretty much. We've covered champions, relegation, goal scorers, assists, and clean sheets. Let me know any of your thoughts down in the comments down below. And like I say, if you do want to see more of this kind of stuff, I was thinking of perhaps doing like a weekly prediction video for the weekend's results. Let me know what you think of that. Like I say, anything to do with in real life football, I'm always going to be up for it. So I absolutely, like most of you that watch the FIFA videos, love football, live for it. So anything like that, I'm always going to be up for doing it. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. And yeah, enjoyed the day. I hope your team does well, unless you're a West Brom fan, because we need to be in those 3 points on Monday. Anyway, I'll speak to you next time, lads. Nidge out. Shot.